we're here today with James Stovall, who is our Senior Vice President of Solution Design for North America. And James is a leading expert in total talent models. So it's exciting to welcome him to the show today, where we're talking to our talent trailblazers. So James, welcome on board, and I'd love to hear a bit about your background.
Thanks so much, Louisa. Glad to be here. Yes, so I've been with Randstad for 5 years, and I lead our solution design. We're building programs for full-time or contingent workforce solutions or integrated solutions that go across both for our clients and help with some consulting in the talent area. My background, I spent about a decade doing with a tier 1 management consulting firm, and have published several articles in Staffing Industry Review and others along this topic. So glad to be here, and it's an exciting topic because there's a lot of change happening.
And I know you're very passionate about it, James, so I can't wait for you to share your insight into how these models are developing in the marketplace. So let's get started. There is a lot of buzz around total talent management and total talent acquisition. Can you define and tell me, what does total talent strategy mean to you?
Sure, absolutely. So total talent strategy at its most basic is just really thinking across your entire workforce. How do you execute work? So when you're thinking about it from a total talent acquisition perspective, that's really saying, let me look at the full-time and the contingent side of my workforce. And that might be anything from contingent workers, independent contractors, statement of work, to full-time employees. And really thinking about not just the operational strategy about how I do each of those segments, but also thinking about more holistically. When I think about from a workforce plan perspective, if I have a large technology project, what's the right mix of having a full-time employee versus a contingent worker or statement of work to be able to solve that problem and execute that work? Because with businesses changing so fast, there's a lot of need to reevaluate that and think about other ways it can be done.
I think other ways organizations are describing it, James, is really achieving total talent agility and making sure you've got the right resource base to get the work done. So I think it's interesting as we delve into the interview with you, as what are some of the main drivers around it?
Absolutely. I would say that there's a lot of drivers that are happening. Obviously, there's a huge talent scarcity issue that's causing a higher level of competition. So in my home country of the United States, the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that they actually track the number of unemployed persons per job posted. It's at the lowest that it's ever been in decades since they've been keeping track of that metric. And so, and I know from our talent trends reports that our clients around the world are reporting that they basically are seeing the same trends, and there's many other alarming trends. So what that's driving, and what I tell my clients, is that we've become a little bit numb to that war on talent from a competition perspective, but really objectively, it's harder to find the people we need to execute our business than ever before, purely from availability, but two, because of the way business is changing so fast. And to your point about agility, the need for digital skills and other skills that are hard to find in the marketplace, that companies are seeing a real challenge, and they have to think about something of, how do I get ahead? And just doing the same type of activities is really causing them to change. One last trend that's also driving this is to say, because the workforce is changing so quickly, I used to, if I was a hiring manager, could just say, I had an employee do it before, I'll have an employee do it again. But what about when there's new work, or there's segments where, for creative talent or certain types of technical skill set, you have to look outside of a full-time position or a contingent position to be able to find what you need to be able to execute that. So it's driving our customers to really think that differently than they have in the past.
And what I think is really interesting, if you think about the way technology and levels of robotics and automation is transforming workforces and the skills needed in workforces, everyone is a competitor for talent today. It's not your competitor next door, it's not your competitor in your sector, it's everyone is your competitor for talent. So tell me a bit more, how are companies reacting to this new challenge?
Sure. Well, let me say, when we first were talking to clients about this several years ago, a lot of clients would say to me, James, you're talking to me about a flying car. We're not ready for this yet. But it's interesting where I've had clients where even just 16 months ago, I had an innovation day talking to them about some of the trends that are happening in this space. And they said, I'm not really interested. I think that's a little bit too far, and are now coming back to us and showing a diagram of their roadmap for total talent and saying it is an imperative for our business strategy to be able to achieve that. So part of that is some of those seeds coming to root, but also it's just a big trend within business because of that agility and the need to execute that people recognize we can't just stay the course with our existing strategy.
So, James, as organizations look to drive total talent agility and get ahead of their key competitors for talent, tell us why are they adopting this type of approach?
Most every organization that I'm talking to about this says that they're doing it from a talent competition perspective, that because of that scarcity and the need to be more agile, that they need to think differently about their workforce to have the right workers to meet their needs. With that competition, it's also thinking about how do I maximize my employment brand within the marketplace. So for example, I've had a couple of clients who've come to me and said, I have 1 million or so applicants per year, but I'm touching less than 5% of those applicants in the process. What about the other 95%? Could we be using them more effectively? And we've come up with some creative solutions to say, would you also be interested in a non-employee opportunity at this organization that we've been able to create that not only provides a great channel for talent, but it also changes some things from a candidate experience perspective, making it better where more of those applicants are being touched. And then also from just from a pure brand perspective, so that all of those applicants are also sometimes consumers of that organization's brand. And so be able to think through to say, if I had a terrible experience as an applicant, does that change the way that I think about that brand? So basically, we know that engagement is so critical in this scarce environment because there's not people just waiting for a job. And so if you have people that are already attracted, you want to do the most you can to be able to take advantage, and that will give you a competitive advantage.
So James, we're really lucky to have people on board on our team that are developing as experts in total talent acquisition and models for our customers. And, you know, I think it's where we're really creating a competitive advantage working with employers, looking at the most flexible and agile talent models. So tell me, how does Randstad SourceRight differentiate its total talent approach?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, for me, it's a pretty easy question. So I mean, starting with the basics, if you're thinking through organizations that can do this, one, you have to have world-class ability to deliver on the full-time and contingent side. So there's obviously organizations that do one or both, but by having Randstad that has the ability to do both, just to be able to do those basics into the game, I think that narrows down the list somewhat significantly. I think two is to have a vision for what total talent can be and to be an innovator in this space. And even from a couple of years ago, when Staffing Industry Analysts and Electronic Recruiting Exchange did one of their first studies coming together to think about this, they called out Randstad's integrated talent approach as one of the innovators in this space. And we've continued to be one of the thought leaders and just have more practice working with different clients to be able to shape what this strategy is and lots of lessons learned about how we can do things differently. So I think that's a fantastic piece. I think the last one, we talked about the importance of technology in this process. We've invested over 60 million euros in being able to buy parts of startup talent technologies that are shaping this, including some talent pool technology that provides us a multitude of options of thinking through the talent pools, of chatbots, and all the different pieces that we can think through to build these innovative strategies that we think are really going to shape the world of work. And we think that that really stands out in the marketplace. And we talk to some of our clients that they're saying, we're not seeing things like this that are able to provide all these needs and check all the different boxes that we need to really get to this holistic talent strategy. So that would be my quick differentiators of what we see.
So James, thank you so much for spending time with us today, being one of our talent trailblazers. Before we wrap up, tell me if there's one piece of advice you could give a company that's looking to trailblaze themselves and explore the opportunities around total talent. What would be your one piece?
Sure. I would say to talk to your different leaders and gain that alignment of what that is, both of where you are today and what is your appetite for the future. And to basically look at your strategy and say, here's what we have for a short-term need, but gain alignment on the long-term vision, even if you still have many steps to get there. And having that roadmap is going to be your best bet for success.
Great. Thanks, James. I'm going to let you get back to our customers. I'm guessing you've got some calls coming through. So thank you so much for your time today.